Test 1, 2. Okay, it looks like it is now. Okay.
Review started.
All right. I have no idea what level this is. So that one's a 21Q. $21Q. Okay, so I'm going to assume it's some double-digit Qs, and we'll see how it goes from there. Okay, turn off the AI. Well, if they're DDK, they know Joseki, so that's probably not 20Q. This one should be high because you have a low stone here. This one is not good because you kill the Aji in the corner. Just back off right here. Another option is to play this idea. Kind of like that. Okay. This is another idea. But this should be good for white because it's too soon to use the Aji. Oh, never do this. You kill all of the 3/3 Aji. You kill all of the Aji if you do this. So this one is very, very good for white. So make sure you don't do that exchange. So these two just made white's corner really solid. Okay. Okay. I don't know what this move does. I just want to play here, or I want to say here. This one's also okay. I don't know if this one's big, but I don't think it's bad. Another option could be here. But I don't know. I think it's okay. White, you want to double Hane this. The idea here is you can very easily sacrifice these 3 stones. If you need to. For influence. The point of this move says, I don't care about these 3 stones. If you do, you want to do that. Because if you go here, it's a lot easier to sacrifice them. So typically, if I'm going to play this way, I'm going to play a double Hane. Now, if you think that this is too valuable, then maybe don't play the Hane in the first place. But typically, you want to sacrifice them. But maybe just go over here. Maybe it's too soon. This feels over-concentrated. Typically from a Hane, you either want to double or you want to connect. Nobi is, like most of the time it's not good. This is when you want to get influence in Gote, and you definitely do not want Gote here. Maybe. No, I think Q6 is okay because the idea is it's looking at the right side. And this is kind of what I'm caring about is this right side. But it's looking at the right side in a way that also is threatening this cut Aji. So I think for black it's okay. For white, I'm worried that if I spend too long here, then black's going to get control of this right side. I think if I want to play here, if I want to fix it, I'm going to go right here. Because I want to spend the least amount of moves here as possible. So this fixes it, and now I can go play on the right somewhere. So if you're going to play here, typically it's double. Not always, but typically. And yeah, so I think I'm between A, B, and C. So let's see. Safest is probably going to be A. Now, normally you would go B if you didn't have this cutting point, because if you didn't have this cutting point, you could make this exchange right here to threaten this. So if it wasn't for this cutting point, then this Atari would be very massive. But because it is, it's a little bit more difficult to get the timing right. So I think solid is usually the way to go for the Q levels. It's pretty safe, pretty easy. Yeah, this feels very over-concentrated, though. This feels very good for black. Black should definitely keep building the right. The right is huge. I think you just keep going. If white gets another response, then you just go here. This feels really, really good for black. Yeah, here's the thing. White is over-concentrated, but there's also a lot of white stones. So I don't want to start a fight against all these white stones. You put all the soldiers right here, so they're in a bad spot, but now you're trying to pick a fight with all the soldiers who are together. This is ignoring the weak group. If you're going to play in the weak group, play in the weak group, either here or here. So now white is still over-concentrated, but there's weakness in black, so it kind of is canceling out the value. Knight's moves are cuttable. I think it's still here or here. Should be the basic shapes. This one would be okay if it wasn't for this cutting point. This cutting point makes it not okay. So usually what makes a shape good or bad is the cutting points and the liberties. So you want to look at those two things. This is fine, but the right side is much bigger. This is a nice attack, though. For the left side, this is a nice spot. But I think it's too soon. I want to get to the right side. I'm not sure where exactly. Just throw a stone in. It shouldn't matter that much. Do you have both ladders? Okay, so this ladder white has. This ladder. Okay, so if we do that, white has that ladder. If we do that. Dot, 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 dot. We do not. But it means anything right here is Sente. Maybe too much to read at this level. It's very odd to double Hane if you can't cut. Typically just fix. Fixing is really strong. But this, if it doesn't work, like if it doesn't cut white, then why? There's a nice squeeze right here though. Maybe the squeeze is worth it. I really like Sente though. Maybe the squeeze is worth it. Definitely want to cut and then do that. That way you get one more move. So I want to say one big issue what I'm seeing is black, you keep playing in areas that are done. You're still playing more stones. Like down here you played more stones. Right here you're playing more stones. Leave the Aji for the future. Usually you don't get to do anything with the Aji right immediately, but later when there's fights in the area, that Aji will come up and it'll help you in the fights. Hmm. I don't know what this move does. This move is a waste. Both of these are wasted moves. The right side is, the top right is like really, really big. This doesn't really do anything, and this definitely doesn't do anything. I don't know what. Someone's mic is on. Arnis, your mic is also on. Noise. Okay. If I'm going to play on the right side, I think this spot is better because now you can make a two space on both sides. If you go right here, when black plays this and you play like that, it's an armpit hit, so it stinks because now we can get double Haned, and that's painful. You typically want to go up. Getting surrounded on the second line is really annoying. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Mm. This should all be okay for black. I don't hate this move, but it should be wrong. I like the idea of living quickly, but this is very uncomfortable and very small. Typically, you want to spread out as quick as you can. One idea is to attach right here. The idea being you're going to sacrifice that stone in order to make shape. And typically, this is a lot of cash to give your opponent, but on this board, it's okay because black already had this as cash, so you didn't really lose that much. Typically, if you can, this is kind of single digit Q stuff. I don't know what rank this is, but single digit Q, you want to try to defend yourself in Sente, and usually that comes from attachments and squeeze type plays. So squeeze the Sujis, attachments, looking at the cutting points and the liberties, and not tunnel visioning on the attack, but rather utilizing those weaknesses in order to defend yourself in Sente. So it's kind of a balance. You want to be able to see any sort of weaknesses like this, but you need to not tunnel vision on it. Rather, you're trying to use that to defend yourself better. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then I can just keep attacking, I guess. I could unsettle. I might just go make profit. Technically, nothing here is like going to be that much greater than the others, but this one I think gives me a lot more follow-ups. Whereas versus if you play here, I feel like I can just ignore white and go make profit. Like nothing really bad happens to black. If that's your concern, then what I would do is just take it away. And now it's a life and death problem. So if you can solve this life and death problem, then this is a good Tanuki. But it's a life and death problem, and this depends on your Go problem skills. So if you're worried about the profit, you can just take it away if the life and death is good. Ah, the center needs a foundation. If there's no foundation, then it's really easy to break the center. This is all going to be good for black is the problem. So it's not like one move magically fixes everything. So I'm trying to pick the most Sentai option, or I'm going to pick the greedy option and do trust my reading. Those are kind of my two ideas. This one is too much. You've already made life. Yeah, it's already alive. Yeah, now it's over invested. I think I'm seeing this a lot. Over investments in areas. The area finishes a lot sooner than um, a lot of these moves. I want to say getting to the big open sections is something that's also being missed because it took a very long time for both players to get to the right side, and now it's taking quite a while for both players to get to the top. So I think don't obsess over the center without a foundation. You need to spread out to all the foundation points as quickly as you can and build up. Because right now this wall is very nice, and we need to take away that extension. I want to see something like this. But because if black gets the extension, this is going to be quite nice. Maybe here, maybe an attachment. Maybe I just go here. But if black can get this and then build it up, I think it's going to be quite nice. We can even shoulder hit as well. So all of these feel like really slow moves. Okay, don't worry about the open side stuff right now. This is not actually what's going to lose you the game right now at this level. All of these wasted moves. This is what is losing you the game. This is what's going to lose you the game. We're playing so many of them. You could gain like 9 extra moves in the first like 100 moves. Like this is move 88. I think a lot of moves could have been ignored this game. So for example, if I go play something else, doesn't matter what. If I go play something else, the only thing you're risking is some in game. You're not going to die, right? So you're worried about 2 points when this massive section is open. There's nothing in this section yet. So we need to be playing the big moves before we start playing in-game moves. So make sure you understand that first line and second line is really small unless it has to do with your eye space. And right now, white is perfectly alive, so there's no reason to play over here. So if you take anything from this review, like make sure you take that because the big moves are less important if you're not playing the big moves. So make sure you're giving all of your moves to the big stuff. Okay, it looks like I'm out of time for this one, so hopefully you both found that review helpful.
Review started.
Okay, we're at 20 keys. Okay. The corner enclosure for this is here. It's a little bit scarier, but we want to learn about the one space jumps. And this is a one space jump down to the third line. So it secures it because third line is safe. So you have the third line on the left, third line on the top. So learning how to deal with things under the 1 point jump shapes is kind of part of the learning process. Because if you only play diagonals, you're going to be playing much slower than your opponent in a lot of your games. But it does come with some risk. It's just stuff that we're going to have to learn little by little. Okay, it's fine. Yeah. This is playing a fourth line, and fourth line is for developing a position. But black has you undercut right here, so in this case you would want to settle. And also there's still the open bottom side. This is becoming very large here because black is getting control of this square. So the way you can think about it is I have a corner move and I have an extension to both. So that means I'm controlling this square quite well. Versus here, you can see black does not have the extension to both because you have a stone here. And here, White can get an extension to both, but white is one move behind black in the bottom right. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, but it means you need to be playing in the bottom right, because that's where this stuff is happening. Okay. Locally, this is okay. But once we're on the 19 by 19, it's in the opening, we really would just want to spread out. We don't really need to play this stuff until later. So on the 9 by 9 and 13 by 13, the middle game starts very quickly. But on 19 by 19, you can ignore a lot of stuff. So I think keep spreading out as quickly as you can. And then once you spread out, you want to build a position up. So you could seal the corner, but I think a good habit to learn is to jump your position up like this or like this. This is a style choice. I this is like if you don't want your opponent to have anything, then maybe you could do this. You could even like go here or here. I my personal preference is to have a position to attack with. So this is my style. Is I want to make a position and attack something. So this is what I want. But yeah, a lot of it can be style. Yeah. Um, when you one thing you want to take into account whenever someone says worse, that is very relative. So let's see, what does the AI say? It's probably going to be 3-3. Okay, corner enclosure. So looks like C6 is 0.1 better. But how much do we actually care about the differences at this level? So whenever you say worse, you have to realize that it's relative. Hmm. Hmm. Right. I think to make it worse, you would have to already be pincered. So if it's like this and I go in, now I would probably prefer this. Um, because now I don't like getting attacked. So I think I would prefer to be the attacker, so reduce it from the outside. If I don't have to get a weak group, I don't want a weak group. So I think that's probably why I feel so comfortable, is because white doesn't have the pincer yet. So I feel like I can go over there and be perfectly fine. Okay. All right, so now we're going to start the middle game ideas. There's probably one move right there, but I think just having an extension and extension on every side, I think now's a good time to start looking at these center squares. Okay, so there's three corners for white. Right here, there's only two for white and one for black. Right here, there are three for black, so do. So this one definitely can be built up. This one can be built up. And then this one is a little bit of both. But likely this is going to be split down the middle, more or less. So I think right now, if I'm white, it's going to be between the top left and the bottom right. So I like to be the attacker, and some basic shapes that we can think about are 1 point jumps. So maybe just right here, or right here. I think these are very basic shapes and very strong, and you will be attacking when your opponent deals with it. So I think that'd be very nice. Another idea would be to build while reducing. That could look like here or like here. That is a very powerful idea as well. But it is further from your friends, so it takes more fighting skill. But these are the two ideas I would be thinking about. Okay, I like this. I would prefer one space jumps though. Two space is when you need like speed. You need to get out fast because it has a lot of karaji. So if I'm going to attack something here, I want something strong to attack it. So I want the strong connected shapes to attack the invasion rather than loose shapes that my opponent can use the Aji of in order to survive in my area. So this stuff is more about speed than about strength. I would prefer this. If my opponent's right here, kind of like the top side, if my opponent's here, I want to settle this position. It's not impossible to play this way, but it's not my preference. This is very slow because you already have control of this area. So let's get more control. Like here. If you're worried about white, you can go in here. You could do this move, similar, reduce while building. Yeah, so these are going to be too focused on territory. And so I want to encourage you to look at these center squares after the extensions are done. Because Go is a game of exchange rates, not of points. So if you are trying to make territory, then you're doing it wrong. What you need is to make positive exchange rates. This means you need to get something and give your opponent less while you're doing it. So usually that is attacking. I will get something while you're trying to make 2 eyes. Okay, that is a positive exchange rate. So usually you're trying to set up positions to attack with to make those positive exchange rates. So if you're making territory in Gote, you're making territory and your opponent doesn't have to ignore you, then you're making nothing. Because right now both players are making territory, so no one's getting anything. Because this doesn't change the exchange rate. It only says I get 10 points, you get 10 points. Okay, both players have increased their points, but the difference in points has not changed. So you're actually doing nothing. Okay, again, I just prefer solid shapes to attack with because Knight's move is more to get around something, but you don't really need to get around this. Be careful with touches. I think if I'm going to block, I would block like this. If I went the left side, I would block because 4th line territory is very valuable. But again, this center square is where the big stuff is. Actually, no, maybe this one is bigger now because now this square is looking very nice. Yeah, I think this one, or maybe a cap. I don't know. I would spend some time here, but basically those ideas. Looking at the center is the important thing. These are locally some shapes, but it's kind of tunnel visioning or following the opponent. I think there's some, I forget the exact phrase about following the opponent or puppy go. I think it's playing puppy go. You're only playing these local moves and you're not looking at the big picture or the big stuff. Just to ignore. If you don't have, if you're not gonna die or get cut, then just ignore and go do stuff. Go do the big stuff. If you're trying to get to this right side of the square, this is a move, not it, the. Usually it's going to be here or here, but that's less important. What's important right now is to realize that you're going for something that is smaller than this stuff right here. So if you're looking at this square, and you're looking at this square and this square, and you compare it to this one, which is not here because it's cut off, so it's just here. These two are much, much bigger. You have been touched, so you want liberties. So usually it's touch Nobi. Okay, and then a very solid connection would look like this. And when you're thinking Knight's move, you immediately want to think about the cutting point. And this cutting point is a ladder. Okay, so it's not cuttable. Compared to this one, which very much is cuttable. So it's a very large difference. When you're playing Knight's moves and Hane's, you really want to make sure you have a plan for those cutting points. Okay, this is trying to reduce white, but I think this is playing too local again. It seems like both players have experience on the smaller boards, but not on the bigger boards, maybe? Yeah, locally this is all like okay, but this is kind of in-game stuff. Absolutely wedge. One space jump to one space jump. Whoever wedges first gets the better shape. If you play here and black plays here, you connect. Black has cutting points. So black has to fix. So it's much better than trading that for that. And black, fix. Don't get cut. Don't get cut. This is not good. You just lose the position. Watch your cutting points in the touching fights. That is the key to attack and defense, is cutting points. I'm not sure what's happening now. Okay, a lot of these moves can be ignored. So this one, I cannot be cut if I ignore. Okay, I can be cut here. Can I respond to Sentai, though? Okay, this one's a bad example. So this one can be cut, but I can do like that or that. Okay, so you respond. Fine. I would respond here for the endgame. But you didn't really get anything for it because you still owe a move locally. And so this one can be ignored because I don't care about that stone. I want to care about the big stuff. This one can be ignored because now I can go get the big stuff. This one I can ignore and go get the big stuff. This one is definitely ignorable. I want to get the big stuff. So you can see there's a lot of moves that you can ignore because it has to have something to do with your cutting points of your group. If it doesn't cut anything, if it's just one stone, then it doesn't really matter. Don't play Tengen. This is the DDKLI. This is not a good move. It is a move. It is a move. But this dot distracts so many of my students that I hate it. I hate this dot. You want to build your position up to the center. You don't want to just start in the center. If you start in the center, I can still go right here and break into it. So this does not help this square nearly as much as something like this. So when we're talking about efficiency, this looks scary, but it's actually got this giant hole, so it's not as efficient as a one-space jump or something. This is a wasted move. We still have this cutting point, which is annoying. Don't push diagonals. It really helps your opponent. Every time you push a diagonal, your opponent gets like a handicap stone. Not really, but like you're helping them. You're helping their connections. You're helping their liberties. So it feels really bad. Now, white, you're supposed to respawn. Now white is super strong with no issues, better in-game. So it's really good exchange for white. But ignoring a push to a diagonal means you're leaving cutting points, and that is bad. So now it's determined on whose cutting points are worse, and technically neither of you should be leaving cutting points in the first place. Yeah, we don't need to do any of that. Just go here. Oh man, this is hard to fix. Maybe here. And here. Maybe surrounding is better if I can't get under it. Yeah, this looks a lot better. Yeah, just surround it. That way you get control of the center. Okay, this is going to be a reading error. White, you still need to fix your stuff. This is very slow. Yeah, this is puppy go. You're having too much difficulty leaving the situation. So you tunnel vision and you want to keep playing on the stones that you've been playing on. But in reality, what you want to learn to do is to always be looking for the Tanuki. Always be looking to ignore. I always want to get to the next thing first. So every single time I'm playing, I'm like, what can I do so I can ignore? Like, why can I not ignore right now? Okay, how do I fix this in Sentai so I can ignore first? I'm always looking at the Tanuki first. Block. So you're probably looking at this ladder. Technically, you can sacrifice them like this, though. Okay, there's many layers to this. So, if this stone is dead, we at least want the end game. If we squeeze it though, like this, let's see, check this first. That definitely doesn't work yet. Okay. If we squeeze it like this though, white can't save it because now it'll die. And if we exchange right here, so if we exchange like this, now white doesn't have to save these. And later when we take, white can take back, so it's 1 point. So it doesn't really matter. But if I give a second stone, now when white takes and I go here, it just gives me a little bit more weight on these. So you can see white has a little bit more of a dumpling. So the liberties for white are a little bit worse, but even here, as long as you connect, I don't think it's a huge deal basics wise. But you can see like the 8 and 6 are kind of wasted moves now. Okay, but white still will get to ignore first. And I'm debating how big that is. Okay, I want to say Tanuki's bigger. There's a lot of endgame there though, so it's hard for me to judge that. But the three stones right here are dead. The 2 liberties, or the 3 stones, these are just dead. There's nothing to do here. So I think learning to Tanuki and get that global vision. This is just a ladder. So learn your ladders. Ladder go problems. Every time my students mess up like a ladder or a net or something basic, I always tell them to go do 100 problems. So every time you mess up a net, do 100 net problems. Every time you mess up a ladder, do 100 ladder problems. You're never too strong to do net and ladder problems. You are never, ever, ever too strong to do this. You drill those forever. Okay, this is a nice cut locally, but I think globally in here.
5 modal verbs just followed.
Yeah. This is not a net, so black, you should do net and ladder problems. So ladder here, net here. Instead, this would be, the idea here would be to squeeze it, which means you get the Atari, and then push. You see how I'm getting this area while forcing these stones? That is a squeeze. I'm forcing you to respond and getting a bunch of stones to do something, and you're still stuck on these this group. So it's a squeeze play. If you could net, sure. If you could ladder, sure. But since you can't do either, don't try. So if you don't have a plan of any of those 3 ideas, then just don't do it. So if you can't capture this stone, don't get a weak group. Instead, you could just play here, here, and then here, and build this section without getting cut off. So you kind of cut yourself here a little bit. This is 1 stone. Make sure you stay on the big framework, the big area. Uh-oh. Now we have a cut right here and a cut right here. So we have double cut. And since this was a black's plan, black actually double cut themselves because black is the one who initiated this whole sequence. And white, definitely stay connected. That's very important. It's also a lot of liberties. It's very nice. This is a good way to die. Because now you have cutting points, and now I have options to try to think about. Like if I go here and you try to kill me, you die, right? So now I have squeeze plays to think about. Right, I have sacrifice plays to think about. Yeah, so I get a lot more options to try to read. Now, I don't know if any of them work, but you give me a lot more options if you give me access to cutting points. Okay, I am out of time for this game, so I'm going to move on.
Review started.
Typically, you want to be 2 spaces away if you want to pincer this. This is interesting though because white does get stronger from here. So I don't know. Maybe research this. The shape here is too nippy. This one gets you an empty triangle, so it's much worse. Okay, you are ignoring a weak group right now. You are surrounded with no eye space, and you do not control the square. So I want to just run away. This is a bit slow. You're already alive. You already have a base and eye space. So I want to surround this weak group. So I want to get around this group and surround it. Okay, nice running. Before we play the top, we want to play the left. And that is because of the distance and the height. Okay, so if we go star point to star point, you subtract 1 to get to the black stone. So this is star point to star point minus 1. Okay, and this one is star point to star point plus 1. So that means the left is 2 lines bigger than the top. Okay, so it's much wider by 2 lines. In addition to that, this is on the 3rd line. This is on the 3rd line, so they're both settled. But on the left, this is on the 4th line, and this is on the 4th line. So they're both developing. So the left is bigger than the top for 2 reasons. I think you're ahead on points, so maybe go here. And I would choose the high Joseki because I have territory and white doesn't. So let's cancel out the center. White can get territory, and that's okay because I have territory. But now white doesn't get control of that center, which is a lot of white moves have been spent doing. So black is winning this way. Locally this is a move, but you are making a weak group right next to another weak group. This is a good way to die. Yeah, this, I would just focus on not getting the weak group, not ignoring the weak group. Because now you keep having to come back to this. This is becoming a large headache. Black's getting more and more stones around you. And you can't play the big stuff because you keep having this weak group. So the longer you take to get to that weak group, the worse it's going to become. Don't play this. This is an armpit hit. It just leads to the double honey. So armpits stink. Instead, you probably want to play a 1-space jump to threaten spies and run away. Probably here. Or here's potentially, but probably here's the easiest. Don't peep your own 1-point jump. You can just block. That's okay. If you're really, really worried about it, I suppose you could do this and try to get this round. This is a super safe plan, but it's a plan. But this just gives cutting points, so I don't know why this would be something to do. This is a lot of cutting points. Maybe just fix is the best option. Just don't have the cutting points. The left is still big, so this is okay. But you are ignoring 1, 2, 3 cutting points and a peep. So it's a lot of weaknesses. A lot of Aji. Okay, good Joseki. Reduction, this is a good point, but I think white you don't need to reduce when you can attack. Because now, white has to defend themselves, and you'll destroy this area in Sente. Because, sorry, black has to defend themselves, and so you'll get to destroy this area in Sente. No, we should attack. You can cap it. You can cut it. You can do a lot of things to it. But what you cannot do is ignore it. The entire point of the game is to attack and make a positive exchange rate. Ooh. Wait. You have a weak stone right here, and now you're trying to get another weak stone right here. I feel like you try to die a lot in your games. You have a weak group, and you're like, I'm not going to defend it. I'm going to go make a second weak group, and then I'll deal with it. But this is like how to die quickly strategies. Touching a weak group is typically not the first idea, my first idea would be to surround with a cap. Crosscut is possible, but very difficult to read. This is very good for white. White has all these stones in the center now, and this is very flexible. Absolutely save it. Cutting stones are worth saving. It's very important to save your cutting stones. Don't fix. That becomes heavy now. I think, let's see. 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 26, 28, 30, 60, 42. White is short on territory. But black is not short on weaknesses, so maybe something like this. Be like, hey, I'm going to attack and control this area now. Because this is very flexible now. The way to respond is here. That gives you the better in-game. Okay. Huh? I don't know why we're playing here. Oh no, don't kill all the in-game Aji. Oh, this Atari is so annoying. Once you learn how many interesting things that you can do in here, this move feels like you're murdering all of your future children, all of your Aji. Oh, it's painful. There's a lot of things you can do. You have Peep and Knight's Move. You have Peep and Touch. You have Descend. You have Hane and then potential Crosscut. You have potential for a Clamp in some cases. You lose all of that if you play this Atari. It's a very painful Atari. One stone is not big. You need to go attack. I don't really see a better way to fix, but this is a lot of Aji. Not right now. There's a lot of Aji. That's why I don't like it, but maybe it's the best because I don't really see a better alternative. The shape would be here, and when they cut the elephant, you respond with the knight. That is the shape to deal with the elephant. I really hate this shape. This is something I see a lot. This is very cuttable. Because now you have two stones that are a knight's move away from this one. And knight's moves are known for the cutting points. So this is a very awkward shape because you have two cutting points. So typically I don't like this shape. This is not quite right. I want to attack. Probably something around here to cut off these stones from their base. And then if you can cut them off, then the next idea would be to try to start surrounding and making profit by controlling the center. So it'd be some sort of combination like that is what I'd be looking at. This is okay if you're ahead. No, this is probably okay. Good. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Second line cuts. Second line cuts. Oh boy, black is in a lot of trouble now. Because you are completely surrounded and cut off. Yeah, getting cut is Getting cut hurts. Don't push diagonals, especially the one that'll hurt you on the inside. This takes your liberties. It pushes your diagonals. It's a very bad exchange. This is not a good move. Does not help you. Run? Question mark. I'm not sure what else to do. Just run away. I have no idea what Black's plan is. I think Black's panicking because the moves are becoming very odd. I don't know why you want to go here. Just win. If Black can't escape, but actually, to make it easy, you can just go here. It's the easiest move probably, and now you think you just win. Probably not insta win, but definitely, probably a comfortable lead. This is not the end game though. If the end game, I think I would rather do a monkey jump or something. Okay, nice cut. That has been here for a long time, but it is still a nice cut. Just cut the stones. Cut the stones. And then peep. Attack. It's a pretty weak dragon. This is what you learn if you watch like that movie How to Train Your Dragon. You just do the opposite of what it teaches you, and that's how you capture the dragon. These 2 stones are really small. They're not the cutting stones. You want to attack the whole group, not just 2 stones. This is such a big move. Oh man. Now all the black stones are alive. Okay, so these cutting points, do not underestimate them. It's like control of the entire area. So do not underestimate these cutting points. This is too early. Well, the center was becoming Dame. This should be wrong though. Again, fix here. That way you get the endgame. Okay. This is still probably big, so should be okay. Oh, don't save it. Sack it. Sacrifice it. Don't invest. It's only 5 points. Keep control of the center, or keep white from having control of the center. Now you have a weak group right next to a wall, and white controls the section, so you don't want a weak group in an area that white controls. I think I see your idea. I think you're trying to like cut these stones off. And if there was a cut here, that would be a good idea, but unfortunately there's not. There's nothing to do here. But okay, it's an understandable idea. Nice move. This one is not cuttable thanks to our little tiger. So you can knight if you have a good tiger friend, because it's not cuttable. Probably not good timing. I think still stay on the weak group. Stay on the weak group, you can do that later. Squeeze. No. Ignore me. Ignore me. I'm misreading it. I think I hallucinated a liberty. Yeah. I'm hallucinating something, but I don't see anything working here. Problem is you can't Atari. And when they take, you can't Atari here because they take. So there's no regular Tsuchi. So maybe you should have just kept the endgame. I think that's all you can do here. Okay. Save your group. Save your group. Don't die. That's not important. Save the group. This is both players' weak groups. This is a cutting point. Let's fix cutting points. Here, because this is the one, this wall is attacking this, so this is the cutting point that also attacks. Then we need to look at fixing here. Okay, this is how I'd fix stuff. Maybe here. Yeah, just fix all your cutting points. But first, defend your group, and then go fix your cutting points. That is the order right now. Don't make something heavy that gets cut, because now you're just getting another weak group. That is nothing. That was a ladder. Yeah, that's just nothing. If you're worried about the peep, then I think this should be pretty easy to handle. I'm trying to figure out what you're concerned about, so you can just fix it. There's even this move. This is a diagonal from one space jump, gives you the tiger on both sides. Yeah, I think there's lots of responses here to not die. You can't be the attacker from a weak group. You're going to kill your own group. Okay, what if I want to sacrifice though and play on the weak group, right? Don't give me things to think about. Like, I don't think it's good to sacrifice, but don't even let me think about it. Just be like, no, you're gonna die. Yeah, I'm not even giving you a chance to breathe with this group. You're not gonna get to make an option to sacrifice. You're just gonna die. Like, don't give me room to make ideas. Do we not care about these stones? It's like 30 points. And white was weak if these stones lived. It was like 40 points. That is one stone. I love we don't care about the 5 stones or the 6 stones. But we do care about the 1 stone. So it's a little interesting. Yeah, okay. What? Stop pushing diagonals, please. If you take anything from this, don't push diagonals. It's super helpful to your opponent. Yeah, stop attacking yourself. Just connect your stuff. Don't play moves that resolve in you getting a weak group. Right? Because your own plan is getting you cut. So just don't get cut. And then you can do whatever you want. Like if you need to go down here, it's okay. You need to go on this group. It's probably late, but then you can do it. You can do whatever you want now because you don't have any cutting points. But now you can't do anything down here because you have to not die. Oh, you can't save it now. You have to go save this one. You played on this one after ignoring it for like 10 moves. There's like 10 more white stones now, and then you try to save it. I have no idea what's happening. Atari, connect. And I'm out of time, so hopefully everyone found these reviews helpful.